which includes the actual documentation of it. Now the other half that we're going to go through today is creating the actual paper map, which you can do on actual paper, you can do it with graph paper, but we're going to use Photoshop today, boys and girls. It's going to be amazing. Now I'll explain some of the tools, but again, this is not like a Photoshop tutorial. Again, you'll find those elsewhere. Or if you really want to explain it, leave comments or whatnot and say, hey, can you explain how to use Photoshop, or what did you do at 10 minutes, 21 seconds, things like that. More than happy to answer things for my adoring fans. So the first thing you need to do is, when you make your paper map, if you want to use Photoshop, is open Photoshop, which already did that for us. The somewhat standard thing to do when you're making a paper map is to gray out the parts that are not going to be traversable by the actual player. And since we don't want to spend a ton of time carving out different things, I decided to just fill in the entire background as gray, because gray is kind of the standard color for you can't travel here, it's the blocked area. So I just wanted to blot out the entire thing with gray to save time. Now I want our players to start in the bottom. That looks terrible. Control Z to undo that. The reason I was doing that with the blue, so I want to make the players going to start down here in the bottom left corner. And I should do something like this. Looks like a nice green. Gonna go to our custom shape tool and look at all of our shapes for, okay, this one looks good. Because the reason I'm choosing this little shape with like the cross and the circle is because in the Galaxy editor you set start points and it lays down this this decal in the editor, which kind of looks like that shape that I selected. And so I want to keep continuity between everything, which is why I chose that. And I was looking at the custom shapes, trying to figure out which one I wanted to use. So like this is going to be a player start point, which you want to create another layer because we need a key, which I'll just put at the top up here, which we'll probably have to make our canvas bigger. So might as well do that now. I just did the default when I opened it. I created a new and did web default. So how about we do 1000 for the width and 800 for the height. So increase it by 200. That's fine. This we'll just fill in. That's fine. Down there. So this is looking better. Because I learned from the last time, the first project we did, I learned a lot. Like I had to increase the size of my paper map so the key could fit on there. So yeah, I'm thinking ahead this time. Thinking ahead. Which we need up here. So I'll just speed it up until I get all this situated and we're back, which you'll see me speed up the video a whole bunch just to see like the process, because it's going to take forever and I don't want to be talking because I really don't need to be talking the whole time. So yeah, see you in a second. back. What I'm just gonna start doing is I'm gonna start filling in different objects. For instance, first thing I'm gonna do is find something that would look good for a tree, because in the jungle we're gonna have trees. I'm pretty sure I'll label it as like foliage or something. Okay, so we have the major layout for the map. We got our player start. I put a bunch of foliage around, and I made the outside of the hidden booths and the central objective room where like the power is going to be that they had sabotage, and the exit to the player escape is out here. Yeah, so this is going to be the main entrance up here, and then here's the secondary path that's going to be up here. Might want to put some more foliage down here so it's more hidden, so it's not like the first thing the player goes to. But either way, I put the door for the central area over here, because we need to make the inside of here more like a maze, so they go to different parts, which I'll get to later. I'm having kind of trouble trying to visualize how I want the rooms to be laid out. I guess I can make this room up here, but so that might help start there. But what I was gonna do is start making player pathing so it's open, so you can see where the player can travel to up here. Okay, now that we're pretty much finished with the actual walls of our hidden base, which, you know, took a tremendous amount of time to complete. I'm just gonna add some fine detail to some things and clean up some sloppiness while we move on to the next part, which will be to place down the rest of our key items here, such as the main objective, side objectives, that this is a window, this is a thing that'll open up, it'll be Zerg, and civilians will open up and they'll be bah. And then the other side objectives, and then where the enemies are, their paths, and the critical path for the player, which have it, folks. Here is our paper map of our amazing StarCraft 2 single player level. So, kind of to review, we got our player start, we got our critical path, which I was a little hesitant. I don't know if it should be the lower route or the top route, but this is like the main way, and I think it might be faster because of the route I drew, because if you go down and whatnot, like, it takes longer. But I don't know, maybe going down and then up through here is faster. It might be. I'll have to think about it. And we have our entire key with everything we need to know. We got the white areas where the player can go. We have our objectives. We have our final objective and our final objective. We have our enemies with their patrol routes or their stagnant bodies. We have scientists. We have civilians. They're gonna get eaten by a Zerg over here if and when the player finds this. Everything is all laid out nicely. Everything's labeled. I wonder if I should put line of sight for the enemies. And I probably need to think about whether I want the remain undetected to include the scientists as well. Probably, right? But then that'll lead the player to killing the scientist, possibly. Interesting indeed. I have to think about that. Before Tuesday, if you have any suggestions, leave a comment below. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. And as always, I hope you enjoyed it. That's going to be it for today. It's going to be some long videos. And next time, we're going to open up the editor and get to work. So I hope you guys are excited, because I'm excited. It's going to be awesome. We're going to do it together, friends. Alright. Have a fantastic morning, afternoon, and or evening.